Hey everybody, it's Jason Blah here, and it's time for part 4 of the Q&A. So let's do it. Do you deadlift on your Adipowers? Not just no, but hell no. Those are squat shoes. In fact, it might even be dangerous to deadlift in those shoes. So no, I wouldn't do it. I've never even considered it, and no. I want my heels flat when I pull. Alright, next question. Jason, the bar path during the bench press must be a straight line? In your videos it seems below the nipple on the lower portion and at the upper chest at the top. That is a good question, and the whole straight line on a bench press, because the shortest distance from point A to B is a straight line and therefore the least energy is used, comes out of equipped powerlifting, which is very popular, and so this has created a mindset that that's the way it has to be, and that's because the suit tends to push a bar in a straight line. Your bench press shirt does, so you don't want to get out of that groove. For a raw bencher, that's not true. The whole shoulder girdle is really, you got to look at it, it's a ball and socket type joint, and it rotates in an arc, and what you're going to find is that it's not always about moving the weight, it's about getting the most efficient leverages by getting the most muscle fibers involved. And sometimes recruiting the most muscle fibers in your shoulders and your chest requires you to follow a more natural groove of your shoulder joint. So you end up with a little bit of an arc in the bench press. And that's perfectly normal. You just need to find your natural arc in that and what works best for you, because that's what's ultimately going to recruit the most muscle fibers, so it's going to give you the most growth, and it's going to give you the most strength. And it's going to vary a lot from person to person, and I'm still kind of relearning mine. I'm really relearning how to bench press from ground once I come back to training, and I still don't have my bench technique anywhere close to perfect. Alright, next question. I heard if you put your protein powder in a shaker that you should leave it to rest for a minute after shaking it, otherwise it gets dizzy and confused and goes to the wrong muscles. Is this true? Well, if you were familiar with the theory of muscle confusion, you would already know that confused muscles will probably bond really well with confused protein. It'll all match up accordingly, because the muscle's confused as to what it's supposed to do, the protein's confused as to where it's supposed to go. And so therefore, it'll end up probably in the right spot if they're both confused at the same time. So you make sure that that protein is stirring around good when you drink it if you just finished training and the muscles are still confused, to get a synergistic effect. Actually, I'm just kidding. It's pretty obvious, man. If your protein is confused, you're screwed. You need to let that stuff settle. Alright guys, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.